So let's play a game. You're sitting in a job interview, you made it through small talk, you nailed the tell me about yourself question, and you've even convinced them you're a team player with initiative without gagging. Then it happens. The interviewer leans in, cocks their head like a curious dog, and drops the nuclear question. What is your greatest weakness? Cue eternal screaming. Sheesh. What's with that guy? Because this question is a trap. It's not just a trap, it's a psychological landmine hidden inside a professional bear trap inside a human resources escape room. And you've got 5 seconds to defuse it using only words, charm, and a vague sense of self-awareness. But don't worry, today we're going to dissect this question with the precision of a brain surgeon who drinks too much coffee. We'll talk strategy, examples, and why saying I care too much should be illegal under federal job interview laws. By the end, you'll know how to answer this question so well, your future self will want to come back in time and hire you just for being clever. I'm Thrive, by the way. I'm a Fortune 500 HR manager, and I have spent years in the corporate world, so you don't have to. Let's start by breaking down why this question even exists, and what the interviewer is really trying to figure out. Part 1. Why they ask this. Look, they don't care that you're bad at Excel, or that you occasionally forget your passwords. Well, IT does. The greatest weakness question is not about your flaws, it's about your self-awareness, your emotional intelligence, and your ability to take feedback without crying in the break room or filing a hostile work environment claim. Think of it like a weird dating question. When someone asks, what's your biggest flaw? They're not looking for you to say, sometimes I stab people. They're looking for something honest, but not scary. Sorry, Dexter. Interviewers want to know, are you aware you're not perfect? Can you handle constructive criticism? Are you doing anything about it? Or are you just raw dogging life with your flaws? It's the professional version of, do you know spinach is stuck in your teeth, or are we all just pretending? Let's be honest, everyone has weaknesses. The problem is how you package them. Part 2, the worst answers. Now, let's talk about what not to say. Number 1, the humble brag weakness. I'm just a perfectionist. Translation, I'm insecure about being seen as weak, so here's a weird flex disguised as honesty. The irrelevant weakness. I'm terrible at public speaking. Cool, but you're applying for a remote data entry job. Why are you giving irrelevant trivia? The dangerous red flag. I don't really like working with people. Oh yeah. Let's tell our potential coworkers that we view them as meat puppets sent to distract us. The guilt trip. My greatest weakness is that I care too much. So you're applying to be a martyr? Is this an interview or audition for a Shakespearean tragedy? These answers don't work because they either sound fake, say too much, say the wrong thing, or reveal you haven't thought about the question at all. It's like bringing your own spoon to a knife fight. Wrong weapon, wrong context. Part 3, how to do it right. Here's the real strategy. It's a 3-part system I like to call confess, contextualize, correct. Let's
break it down.
Confess. Name a real weakness, not your fatal flaw. This isn't Greek mythology, but something honest. Pick something like delegating tasks, meaning you try and do it all yourself to show you're a rock star. Saying yes too quickly. I personally have said this before because at the time I said it, it was true for me. At times in my past, I made it a point to impress or prove myself by saying yes to everything and taking on too much and spreading myself too thin. Being too detailed. Without sounding like a humble brag, focus on this taking up too much time and slows down efficiency. Needing time to warm up to public speaking. Contextualize. Explain how this showed up in your past. Keep it short. You're giving them the trailer, not the director's cut. Example, I used to struggle with delegating because I felt more comfortable doing things myself. But I realized that's not sustainable in a team setting. And correct. Show what you're doing to improve it. Bonus points if you sound like someone who owns a planner and reads self-help books in their free time. You're welcome. Now, I make a conscious effort to delegate early and check in without micromanaging. I even asked a mentor to help me spot when I'm overloading myself. This shows that you're aware of your humanity, but also that you don't intend to live in your flaws like a bad Airbnb. It's vulnerability wrapped in professionalism. Basically, the emotional support burrito of job interviews. Emotional support burrito. Part 4, customizing for your job. Here's the thing. Your answer should fit the job. A weakness that's fine for a back-end developer could be fatal for a customer service rep. If you're in leadership, don't say your weakness is leading. That's like a pilot saying they're nervous around airplanes. Say something like, I used to avoid giving direct feedback too quickly because I worried about damaging morale. But I've learned timely communication actually builds trust. If you're in tech, I used to get stuck over-engineering engineering solutions. Now I focus on clarity over complexity, and I test early. If you're in a creative field, I used to take feedback personally, but now I see it as a tool, not a judgment. If you're in sales, I used to jump to closing too early. Now I slow down and I focus on building the relationship first. The sale comes later. See, tailoring your weakness shows you understand what matters in your field, and you're not just parroting answers you Googled on the ride over. On a personal note, as an HR manager for a long time now, I have heard it all. So I find it refreshing when a candidate is open about their challenges and views them as opportunities to improve while having a plan to do so. Part 5, Advanced Play, the Weakness and Transition. If you're feeling bold, here's a next level move. Choose a weakness that you're actively converting into a strength. Something like, I used to be uncomfortable speaking up in meetings, but I've made it a point to contribute early, even if it's just a question, so I stay engaged and improve. Or, I used to struggle with time management when juggling multiple deadlines. Now, I use a time blocking method that helps me stay ahead, not just on time. This shows growth mindset, proactive attitude, and a human being who doesn't wait until they're drowning to learn to swim. The key is to sound like someone who owns their story, not someone reading the Cliff Notes version of their own life. Conclusion. So, the next time someone asks you, what is your greatest weakness? You won't freeze, you won't sweat, or mutter,
chocolate.
You'll answer with calm confidence, like someone who knows their own plot twist. You'll admit a real flaw, not a fake one. You'll show self-awareness, not self-pity. You'll demonstrate growth, not groveling. Because the truth is, we all have weaknesses. What matters is how we handle them, whether we avoid them like IKEA instructions or address them like a grown-up with a 401k. In the end, your greatest weakness might just be that you underestimated how well you could answer this question. And if nothing else, remember, when life gives you flaws, make them interview lemonade. Now go out there and be honest. Be strategic, and above all, never say perfectionism, because that answer, well, it's perfectly weak. HR confessions time. Real things candidates have told me in interviews. One guy said his weakness was revenge. Another told me he didn't believe in alarm clocks. The bar is low, friends. You'll be fine. Like if you like, sub if you sub, share if you share. I'm Thrive. Bye.